the more people are looking at you. So there may be something that a person who is a pew warmer can do and get away with, but when you've been called out and pulled up and God has put you out there, you can't do what everybody else can do. So you're going to be watching. So a lot of times we're apprehensive. God, I want to do your will, but I don't want to preach. I don't be no pastor. Lord, and I think about one time we visited a church and the pastor called us out in the middle of the service and said, you back there, you're a pastor. And it was like, neither one of us pastors, so I don't know who we talking to. Speak, Lord Jesus. We praying, Lord, whoever it is, just show him right now. And he was talking to us. So a lot of times we'll hear the call, but we will ignore it because we don't want to endure the shaking. We don't want to endure the sifting. We don't want to endure the agitation, the frustration, the disturbance in our life because we like it like this. A lot of times if you just come and sit and you're not making any real moves, the enemy plays you just a little bit. But when you get to the point where you're like, oh, I'm pursuing Christ, I'm doing all that I can do for God, you will experience more turbulence. And if you travel longer, the longer you're in the air, the more likely you are to come across some turbulence. So if I'm flying from here to New York, which is about a 45 to an hour flight, real time in the air, probably about 40 minutes at the most, I may not endure as much turbulence, but if I'm flying from here, I'm sure Sister Rashay at some point in that long flight between those 3 stops, that there was some turbulence because she was going so far. The longer you up there, so the more you're traveling and doing what God tells you to do, he said, don't think it's strange when the agitation and the turbulence occurs. It's common. It's something that's going to happen. And let's go to Romans 5:3. And I'm not going to try to down in the Bahamas and we saw those trees and then we saw that limousine waiting on us. It was like, it was worth taking your shoes off and pulling your liquids out your bag. It was worth the person that might have been musty in front of you. It was worth the crying baby and the shaking plane because look at where I am. And this is what I want to encourage you. Endure the turbulence of your life because if you allow God to take you where he wants to take you, you are going to love the place that you reach. But a lot of times we just don't want to endure it. I've heard people say, well, I don't travel because I don't want to deal with all that. Taking my shoes off, you touching you, feeling you, raise your hands like this. And I don't feel like doing all that. But for those of us who really want to go somewhere, people say, I would love to see the world. That they don't want to get on a plane or travel, they don't want to get on a boat. Well, in order for you to see some things and experience some things, you're going to have to do some things you don't like to do. It's like Brother Christian talked about on last week. You're going to have to get out of your comfort